So yesterday, I reserved a room at the library for May 10th. Going to have um, just a little gathering. I decided to name it Soul Fitness, and the idea behind that is that we have so much um, information, knowledge about our physical bodies these days and how to be physically fit. And there's so many different ways to do that and options of what type of fitness do you want. Do you want to be, bulk up? Do you want to be a runner? Or do you just want a more higher level of overall fitness in your everyday life? And again, like we've talked about in the YouTube channel on the talks about connection, that there's three aspects to our being. There's mind, body, spirit. And it's funny, people use that term mind, body, spirit. I had an instructor that used mind, body, energy. And I've started using the term mind, body, soul. Now, the word soul comes with a lot of different meanings to it. So I'll define how I'm using the word soul. And that's the aspect of yourself that is still pure energy. And it is beyond your thoughts. That's who the observer is. When you can step back and watch the thoughts play through and pass by. Who's doing that? That's that other aspect of you, and that's what I call the soul. Now, something interesting that I've been discovering as I've been digging deeper into this aspect of my being, the soul, is that it tends to be that quiet voice. We've heard that before. I believe Steven Spielberg was saying about our dreams that they whisper. It's that whisper. It's not the loud voice, but it's that small whisper, so that you have to really be still and quiet and hear what that is that's calling to you. And just like that whisper, the soul speaks to us through our emotions. How many times have we had feelings that we don't want? I don't want to feel this way about this, but I do. And what that's showing us is that while the mind, again, we've talked about this, the mind has thousands, tens of thousands of thoughts per day going through the mind. So the mind is always perceiving and questioning and thinking and projecting and reflecting. It's doing all those things at any given time. And that's what the mind does. So it's good. It's good at filing, at analyzing. But the soul carries the theme that we came here to explore. And I firmly believe that each of us has a primary theme and of course other themes that branch off from that main one. So from that perspective, the soul speaks to us when we feel those kinds of division within ourselves. When we feel two ways about something. And that's where a lot of teachers, the spiritual teachers, they may encourage, or they do encourage, you to any number of things. Pivot, drop it, Think about other things instead. So it's a form of aversion. And I will say this. There comes a time once you've really practiced learning how to navigate your emotions and your thoughts and your body, your physiology, where that becomes more and more true, right? When certain thoughts might slip in, and it's easy for you to just say, no, I'm not going to entertain that thought any further. No, we're not going to go down that road. But some of this stuff is very deep, and when you're doing that, all you're doing is delaying. You're delaying the need to look at that, the need to look at that emotion and see what it's telling you. And 9 times out of 10, it's some kind of a wound. And it may be a wound that was experienced and, directly by you, or one that you witnessed. It's still a wound, and it's still created these beliefs. So I'm actually putting the soul very close with the idea of the subconscious mind. That when you have that conscious mind, subconscious mind, you have the soul. It's carrying the memories of your lineage and the memories that you've been accumulating during this lifetime. So you really have to sit with those feelings. And the beautiful thing about this work is the more you do it, really the faster it gets. And it's not really about speed, but you don't want to spend years suffering either. That's the whole reason why so many of us, especially in this Western society, we find any and every way possible to deny and distract, right? We'll stay up and watch TV until we fall asleep because we don't want to be in the quiet alone with our thoughts and our emotions. We go to the doctor and get medications. All of those medications do what? They treat the symptom. All they do is alleviate the symptom. They're never really digging down deep into the cause. And that's because that cause is something so untouchable and ethereal and so unique to each one of us. And that is why we have to get to know ourselves and get more comfortable with the idea of simply being with those emotions and knowing that they can't do anything other than just help us understand that there's some kind of a wound. And by us taking the time to sit with it and acknowledge it, that right there is the beginning of some profound healing. So my goal is not to talk about it unnecessarily. I think there's been a lot of talk about this. I think it's time we start to practice. And so the groups that I want to start to gather together are groups that are committed to putting this into practice. So absolutely, there will still be dialogue, there will still be conversation, because there's always opportunity to understand better, to fine-tune. But it's time for us to begin to act, and it, we've done enough of that. So, of the talking, that is. So, hopefully, if you can make it, I'll see you on May 10th at the Boulder City Library in the Flatirons room. It's one of their meeting rooms. They have some really nice areas for that, and I appreciate, we want to thank the city for that, making that available. And yeah, come experience this. Come with your questions, and also come ready to experiment and experience. So we'll see you May 10th. We'll be doing more of these events. It's called Soul Fitness because it's time for us to get our souls fit. And that's another reason why I think that we have so many issues still with our well-being. It's because that aspect of the self is we're not bringing it up to speed. We're taking care of all these other areas, and this one's being left behind. So definitely time to give that attention. All right, I thank you so much for your attention, and we'll see you on May 10th.